Wait a second. The cops almost lost Bryan Kohberger? Come on, man.
Pascal.
What's up, y'all? It's your boy Pascal back at it again with another pop-up video. Be sure to follow me on Instagram, TikTok, and on Twitter, The Pascal Show. One word, hit that like button down below. And let's not forget to crush that subscribe button if this is your first time checking out this channel right here. Oh my God, it's been a while. Anyway, we got to get into this story. This is very interesting. Now, I haven't talked about Bryan Kohberger for a minute now, but we have to bring this up because I found this to be very interesting, okay? So we got to take a look at this title of this article right here. How do you lose one of your prime and only suspects connected to the Idaho 4 tragedy? How do you lose them for 14 hours? And this is the FBI we talk about, baby. We talk about FBI, okay? So let's get into this article real quick, okay? Idaho tragedy investigation. Bryan Kohberger vanished for 14 hours while under FBI's surveillance. Let's get into this report. Now, we already know that Bryan Kohberger hopped into a car, drove out with his papa, because his Papa Kohberger, flew all the way from Pennsylvania to Washington, jumped into a car with him, and drove cross-country back to Pennsylvania. And of course, that's when he got detained, and now he's obviously arrested, and now they flew him all the way back to Moscow, Idaho, and he is awaiting trial on June 26th for the unalivings of these 4 individuals, Maddie, Kaylee, Xana, and Ethan. It's a tragedy. It's been wild, and there's been a lot of evidence, lack thereof, and speculation all pointing at Bryan Kohberger as being the man that has done this unthinkable thing, right? But we'll find out more information on the 26th of June here very, very soon. But let's get into this, okay? The Idaho tragedy investigation almost hit a major snag just 2 weeks after authorities classified BK as a person of interest, according to a new report. On December 13th, agents with the FBI lost Kohberger, okay, according to Air Mail. Now, Air Mail has been making some articles, just breaking everything down, timelines and whatnot of everything from 911 calls to the affidavit to everything, okay? Just kind of piecing everything together. And of course, there's some really interesting, juicy information in those articles as well. But moving on, that is the day that BK headed back home to Pennsylvania from Washington with his father, Michael. I call him Papa Kohberger, okay, who had flown cross-country to join his son on another cross-country trek, but this time by car. Now, this is from them here, okay? This is from, I guess, a report from Airmail. All right, so it says, sources in law enforcement would confide with a bristle of embarrassment. Not long after the car pulled out of its space in the graduate housing parking lot in Pullman, Washington, they lost it. This is according to reports from Air Mail. For several alarming hours or more, the authorities are keeping the precise details of this screw-up close to the chest. I would too, okay? The chief suspect in a quadruple homicide that had shocked the nation had seemingly vanished. Now imagine being in that kind of situation. You got the best and brightest. You got FBI, that's pretty high up as far as experience, intelligence, etc., right? Losing their prime suspect, right? Their person of interest, at least at that time, suddenly just vanishing out of thin air. That is just absolutely insane. And the fact that they're saying that this was for several hours, if not more, is astonishing. Imagine the amount of stuff that BK could have been able to get away with during that time while he was on that trek, cross country, when they didn't see anything. He could have buried something. He could have gotten rid of something, thrown something in the trash can at a local QT. You know what I'm saying? Or a local gas station of some sort, whatever it may be. But that is some crucial time that they did not see him at all, didn't see any movement of him at all. Now, I'm wondering how they were able to catch up with him because 14 hours, if not more, is a whole lot of time of kicking rocks out here in these wilderness streets. Let's continue here, okay? Airmail reports that Papa Kohberger, spoke about the trip with the mechanics who serviced his son's car around the holidays. It's Michael who suggested that the two head off early on the morning of December 13th, states the report. Now, there was also something that happened, I think the day before, where there was someone who actually was unalived by cops on Washington State University's campus. So that might have been the reason they kept saying that over and over and over and over again whenever they were pulled over. They both were basically saying, oh, yeah, there was an incident on campus, so we decided to leave early because just imagine, you know what I mean? Outside of any speculations, just imagine you have a tragedy of four, a quadruple tragedy right down the street, basically, and then another tragedy that happens right when your pop flies into town. Yeah, I mean, if I was the pop, I'd want to leave early too. You know, I'd want to kick rocks too with the quickness because too much bad juju going on in that particular area, and too many situations in one sitting, in my personal opinion. Okay, but moving on, Michael allegedly told the mechanics that he assumed the pair would head down I-90, a trip that would have taken them approximately 36 hours. But Bryan, according to what his father told people, instead of using the northern route across I-90, all right, apparently the I-90 said that it was going to be pretty bad conditions because of the snow and all that stuff. All right, so better to head away from the weather, even if it added hours or even a day to the trip. Of course, I don't know about you guys, but driving through snow is never fun. But let me say this too, because driving cross country is already nerve-wracking to begin with. Driving through snow, especially through icy and wintry conditions, no bueno whatsoever. But I have to say this though. Why was he making this detour, right? Why was he adding more? Why was he going south and then, you know what I mean, taking a different route instead? Now, I know that maybe there's some theories out there. Maybe he was driving somewhere to off the path. Maybe to drop off the weapon. Okay, maybe the weapon that he used that was supposed to be in that sheath, right? That of course the law enforcement has in their possession, that actually has his DNA on that button. Maybe there's, a little knife or something like that he wanted to get rid of. Maybe it's the clothing that he used, allegedly. Again, he is still innocent until proven guilty in a court of law. But what are the chances of him making that detour because he's thinking that he might get found or he might get followed? By taking this detour, that's getting the law enforcement off his scent. They'll just think that, oh, he's taking I-90 all the way to such and such, all the way to whatever to get back home, right? This is the route that he's taking. But instead, between he and his father, right, he might be like, no, we're going to do this instead. Just throw it off a little bit. That could be it. Or maybe he made a detour for something else. I don't know. But it is very strange that he did take he went the extra mile to get around this wintry conditions, which is very, very strange. But let's continue. So according to Airmail, Kohberger allegedly button hooked south towards Colorado, where he'd pick up I-70. That added an additional 6 to 7 hours to the pair's travel time, according to route maps. The FBI did not yet have the DNA sample or cell phone records that would ultimately be presented to the judge who signed off on this arrest of BK, all right, on the warrant. So they needed to keep watch. Like, they needed to watch this dude, all right? Because you never know. He might try to go to Canada. He might try to hop on a plane and fly to Spain. You never know, right? The report does not detail the events that precipitated the FBI losing Kohberger, only the aftermath. But that's the thing. How do you lose a dude that is a prime suspect in this in a one of the biggest crimes, one of the biggest mysteries right now? Okay? How do you do that? So they say, and this is obviously makes sense, that there was a mood of panic rapidly escalated into one of despair. Frantically, they began to search the records of automated license plate readers in nearby states. It was an exercise in futility. Nothing. Not a single hit. And this is according to the Airmail reporter. Now, that's crazy. That his license plate never read anywhere. That's insane to me. Police got a big break, however, 14 hours later, okay, when Kohberger's new license state plates were captured in Lomo, Colorado, by a number plate recognition device. Agents then tailed BK back home to Pennsylvania and hit yet another, of course, they hit another hurdle when law enforcement stopped the PhD student twice for tailgating in the span of 20 minutes in Indiana. The agents were frustrated and they were angry. The possibilities were too dangerous. The main problem shared law enforcement officials with an arm's length familiarity with the FBI's surveillance operation was the watchers' helpless passivity. All they could do was observe from a distance and wonder. 2 weeks later, he would be arrested and extradited. And of course, in June, he will be formally charged with 4 counts of first-degree M in the demise of these 4 young students. Of course, Maddie, Kaylee, Xana, and Ethan. See, this is the thing that doesn't make any sense for me, guys. They go off and take this trip. They go and do their thing, right? And they're doing this cross-country trip. But you got FBI. The FBI. Some of the best in the game, guys. Keeping tabs on this dude. This could be the guy. And if you slip up, this guy could be in Dubai. Okay? He could be in Mexico. He could be anywhere, right? So why? How, actually? How did they slip up and lose this dude for 14 hours? And I understand that he's with his dad, and his dad, of course, if the dad really doesn't know a doggone thing, clearly, it's not like he's going to be able to do a whole lot. But there is still a lot of things he could do with evidence, with the weapon, all those things. So it is still very strange to me and wild to hear that FBI lost track of their prime suspect for 14 hours. And I'll say this too, thank God they found him. But still, 14 hours allows him to do a whole lot of mess. So we'll see what else they find. But man, 14 hours, yo? 14 hours. That's a lot of time for this dude to do a lot of dirty things. Anyway, guys, that's the video. Comment down below. Let me know what your thoughts are. Where do you stand on this? You know what I mean? Is it 14 hours? No big deal. Like I said, I'm glad that they caught him still. They still caught up with him and they didn't lose him. He is in jail right now. He is about to face the music here very, very soon in June. So I'm very happy about that news. But at the same time, 14 hours though. What would you do over those 14 hours if you had that extra time? Also, behind your papa's back if he doesn't know anything, right? You got to remember that. He got to finesse around that if he was to go and do something during those 14 hours. Okay? So, anyway, comment down below. Let me know what your thoughts. All right. Don't forget to hit that like button and most definitely crush that subscribe button. It'd be great to have you a part of the Pascal Show family. Anyway, it's time to get going. Be good to yourselves. Be good to one another. And I'll see you guys in the next video. This is the Pascal Show. Bye.
Pascal, you are now rocking with that dude Pascal. We be going wild.